Fatou's lemma. Important one. Suppose x comma script b comma mu. Suppose x comma script b comma mu is a measure space and E is any element of script b. Suppose Fn be a sequence of non-negative measurable functions defined on E which converges to F on E almost everywhere with respect to mu. Then integral over E F d mu is less than or equal to limit n tends to infinity infimum of integral over E F n d mu. This one we have to prove. What is the given? Suppose x comma script b comma mu is a measure space and E is any element of script b. Suppose Fn is a sequence of non-negative, each and every term of the sequence is non-negative, as well as measurable functions which are defined on E, and this sequence converges to F on E almost everywhere. Then we have to prove this one. Then we have to prove this one. Proof. Since integral over sets of measure 0 is 0, since integral over sets of measure 0 is 0, so without loss of generality we can assume that Fn converges to F on E. Since in the statement clearly given that the sequence Fn converges to F almost everywhere. If I take integral, since it is almost everywhere, the definition of almost everywhere says that measure of the set, all those elements, such that Fn does not converges to F is 0. Therefore, the set of measure 0. If I take integral over that set, it will become 0. So, without loss of generality, I am going to assume that Fn converges to F on E. On E, we have each Fn is greater than or equal to 0. Clearly given in the statement that each Fn is greater than or equal to 0 and each Fn is measurable function for all n. Also, Fn converges to F on E. On E. Hence, we get. Now, if each and every term of a sequence is non-negative, then its limit is also non-negative. And already we have proved earlier that if the sequence, each and every term is measurable function, if it converges, then the limit is also measurable function. F is a measurable function. Therefore, we get integral over E F d mu. From the definition, I can write that supremum over 0 less than or equal to phi less than F integral over E phi d mu, where phi varies over simple functions. Phi varies over all the simple functions. Now, to prove the theorem, to prove the theorem, it is sufficient to prove, it is sufficient to prove the theorem, it is sufficient to prove, we have to prove this one. Integral over E of d mu is less than or equal to limit infimum of integral over E f and d mu. This one I already wrote here, this one. Now to prove this one is less than or equal to limit infimum, I will prove that if I take any simple function, if I prove that that integral value is less than or equal to limit infimum, therefore the supremum is also less than or equal to this one. So to prove the theorem, it is sufficient to prove, integral over E phi d mu is less than or equal to limit n tends to infinity infimum over integral over E f and d mu for any simple function phi such that 0 less than or equal to phi less than f. If I show that if I take any simple function lies between these two and its integral is less than this one, then its supremum is also less than this one. If the supremum is less than this one, therefore this one is less than limit infimum of this one, then our theorem will be complete. So let phi be a simple function such that 0 less than or equal to phi less than f. Now I will prove this one. I will prove this one in two cases. Case 1. Suppose integral over E phi d mu is infinite. Suppose integral over E phi d mu is infinite. Since it is infinite, then there exists a real number a greater than 0 such that the set a is equal to all those elements belongs to E such that whose phi of x value is greater than a is of infinite mu measure, that is measure of a is infinite. How I am saying this one? Since phi is greater than a and a is greater than 0. Now suppose this integral over E phi d mu is infinite, where phi is a simple function. Since phi is a simple function, its range is finite. As well as phi is a measurable function. Since its integral is infinite, then there exists a real number a greater than 0 such that if I collect all those elements of E such that functional value of phi of x is greater than a, in this element there are infinite number, in this set there are infinite number of is infinite mu measure. Why? If it is a finite, if for all the real number, if the set is finite, then here we will get a finite and here we will get a finite. Since given that this is infinite, we will get there exists a real number such that if I take all those elements such that phi of x greater than that real number is infinite mu measure. Otherwise, here I am writing since otherwise we get integral over E phi d mu will be finite. If it is not an infinite mu measure, if it is a finite mu measure, then from the definition of the integral of a simple function, we will get this one as a finite, which will be a contradiction to our case, a contradiction. If you want, you can go through the definition of integral of simple function. You can go through the definition of integral of a simple function. Now, for each n greater than or equal to 1, define a sequence an of sets as an is equal to all those elements belongs to E such that fk of x is greater than a. What is a? Whatever the real number here we got, for all those k greater than or equal to n. So what I am going to do, since the integral over e phi d mu is infinite, there exists an real number such that the set A, all those elements of E such that phi of x is greater than A is infinite mu measure. That is, mu of A is infinite. Now I am going to define for I am going to define a sequence of sets such that the terms of a sequence are nothing but an is equal to all those elements of E such that fk of x is greater than A for all k greater than or equal to n. If I take n is equal to 1, here you will get all those elements of E such that fn of x greater than a, f2 of x greater than a, f3 of x greater than a. All those elements which satisfy all these functions are in this set. If I take a2, all those elements of E such that f2 of x greater than a, f3 of x greater than a. I am not taking f1 of x here. I am not taking f1 of x here. So, since in the statement clearly given that in the statement, since each fk's are measurable function, each fk are measurable function, we get that the sequence an is a sequence of measurable sets such that, how I am saying each and every term of the sequence is measurable set, since in the statement clearly given that fk is a measurable function, then from the definition of a measurable set, a function is said to be a measurable set if this set is a measurable set. Therefore, each and every term of the sequence is measurable set such that a1 is contained in a2, a2 is contained in a3, a3 is contained in so on an, an is contained in so on. Also note that whatever the a here we got this set, this a is a subset of union of all these sets, union n is equal to 1 to infinity an. How I am saying this one, you can write in a rough part. Let us take any element belongs to a. This implies if I am saying x belongs to a, then when I can say that x is an element of a if its phi of x value is greater than a, then phi of x is greater than a. Now this implies I can say that f of x is greater than a. How I can say this one? Since phi is less than f, in the beginning of the case 1 where we have wrote phi is less than f, therefore this one we will take as equation number star. Also x belongs to a, and a is a subset of E. This implies I can say that x belongs to E since a is a subset of E. Now this implies fn of x converges to f of x, as how I am saying this one, since Fn converges to f on E. In the statement clearly given this one. And by star we have f of x is greater than a. What is this f of x? F of x is nothing but limit of the sequence fn. If the limit is greater than a, means from the definition, this implies there exists a k such that fn of x, there exists a natural number such that after that natural number each and every term of the sequence is greater than a, for all those n greater than or equal to k. Since the limit value is greater than a, there exists a natural number such that after that natural number, if I take any term of the sequence, that one is greater than a. Fn is greater than a. This implies x belongs to, now from the definition, in place of n here we have k, in place of k here we have n. So here we will get this one will be belong in ak. If x belongs to ak at least one set, then this x belongs to the union an. Therefore I took an element of a, that element belongs to this one. Therefore a is a subset of union n is equal to 1 to infinity an. This one you can write in a rough part. The reason for this one I wrote here. Now hence by a known result we get limit n tends to infinity, measure of an is equal to measure of union n is equal to 1 to infinity an. This one we have already proved. If an is a sequence of measurable sets such that a1 is contained in a2, a2 is contained in the beginning of the first chapter, in this chapter only, then limit n tends to infinity, measure of an is nothing but this one. Now since this one a is a subset of this one, therefore by the monotonicity of mu, this one is greater than or equal to measure of a. The reason why I am wrote here by monotonicity of mu, but we got measure of a, is infinite, which is equal to infinite, since measure of a is equal to infinite. Therefore what we got, infinite is less than or equal to limit n tends to infinity, measure of an. If the limit value is greater than or equal to infinity, this implies proving limit n tends to infinity, measure of an is equal to infinite. Equation number 1. Now therefore for any n greater than or equal to 1, we get integral over e fn d mu. Since each and every term is a subset of e, therefore this one I can write, this one is greater than or equal to integral over an fn d mu. Now on an, the set an says that this value is greater than a, all those elements. If I take k is equal to n also, that functional value is greater than a. So here this value is greater than integral over an a d mu. Since fn of x is greater than a for all those x belongs to an. This one I wrote the definition. This is equal to a into integral over an d mu, which is equal to a into measure of an. therefore we get integral over E Fn d mu is greater than a into measure of an. Now taking limit inferior on both sides, limit n tends to infinity, infimum of integral over E Fn d mu, which is greater than a, limit n tends to infinity, infimum of measure of an, which is nothing but a. This value just now here we got from equation number 1. If limit of n tends to infinity, measure of an is infinite, then its limit inferior and limit superior both are infinite. So this one I can write as infinite by equation number 1. Since a is positive, this one you will get infinite since a is greater than 0. What is the case we are dealing? Infinite is nothing but integral over E phi d mu. Integral over E phi d mu. Therefore, what we got now? Proving integral over E phi d mu is less than limit n tends to infinity, infimum of integral over E Fn d mu. Proving the theorem in this case. Now case 2. Suppose integral over E phi d mu is finite. Then since phi is a simple function, phi must be bounded and there exists a measurable set A of E with measure of A is finite and phi of x value is equal to 0 for all those x which belongs to outside this set E minus A. Since this value is finite, therefore phi must be bounded. If phi is unbounded, therefore it will be infinite, and there exists a measurable set A of E whose measure is finite. And if I take any element outside of this set, the functional value of this one will become 0, and will become 0 from the definition of integral of a simple function, that is phi vanishes outside of a set A of finite measure, since otherwise, if suppose there does not exist a measurable set whose measure is finite, means all the measure is infinite, then from the definition of integral of a simple function it should be infinite. If there exists a measurable set whose measure is finite and phi of x is not equal to 0 outside of this set, then from the definition again in the summation part we will get infinite number of answer. So therefore if it won't satisfy, we will get integral over E phi d mu, which will be infinite in both the cases, either this one or this one, which will be a contradiction. Since phi is bounded, since phi is bounded, that is, there exists capital M greater than 0 such that phi of x is less than m. I am not writing modulus because already we know that phi is greater than or equal to 0. Since phi is non-negative, modulus of non-negative will become again the same thing. Now choose an epsilon value which is greater than 0 such that 0 is less than epsilon, epsilon is less than 1. We have to select an epsilon value which is lies between 0 and 1 and greater than 0. Now for each n I am going to define a sequence for each n greater than or equal to 1. Define a sequence an as an is equal to all those elements of E such that fk of x value should be greater than 1 minus epsilon into phi of x for all those k values which are greater than or equal to n. For each n, I am going to define a sequence of sets. What is that set? All those elements of E such that fk of x is greater than 1 minus epsilon. Just now we have selected epsilon value into phi of x where k is greater than or equal to this n value. Since each fk is a measurable function, I will get each set is a measurable set. Note that an is a sequence of measurable sets and A1 is a subset of A2, A2 is a subset of A3, A3 is a subset of so on AN, AN is a subset of AN plus 1, so on. Hence we know that A is a measurable set, this all are also measurable set, difference of 2 is also measurable set. Hence we get A minus AN is a sequence of measurable sets, and if this one is in increasing order, then A minus AN sequence is in a decreasing order. A minus A1 is containing A minus A2 is containing so on. Containing so on with measure of A minus A1 by the monotonicity. Since A minus A1 is a subset of A, therefore by the monotonicity of mu, this one I can write as less than or equal to measure of A. Since the measure of A is finite in the starting of this case too, by monotonicity of mu, therefore we got a sequence of measurable sets which are in decreasing order and whose measure of A minus A1 is finite. Therefore by a known result we get measure of integration n is equal to 1 to infinity A minus AN is equal to limit n tends to infinity measure of A minus AN. Let us take this one as equation number 2. Now I will prove that this one is a empty. Now we prove intersection n is equal to 1 to infinity A minus AN is empty. I will prove this one by using a contradiction. So if possible, assume that intersection n is equal to 1 to infinity A minus AN is not empty. If it is non-empty means it has some element. Therefore x belongs to intersection n is equal to 1 to infinity a minus an. If x belongs to the intersection means x belongs to each and every set. X belongs to a minus an for all n. X belongs to a minus an means x belongs to a but not in an. X belongs to a but x does not belongs to an for all n. For all n. This implies x belongs to a, and since x does not belongs to an, then x is not the element of an, means x is not satisfying this one. If x is not satisfying this one means fk of x is not greater than this one, means it should be less than, and fk of x is less than 1 minus epsilon into phi of x for all those k greater than or equal to n from the definition of an for all n. This implies x belongs to a and fk of x is less than phi of x. How I am saying this one? Since epsilon is less than 1, then 1 minus epsilon, and also I have selected an epsilon value which is less than 1, then the difference 1 minus epsilon will be 1 minus epsilon will be always less than 1. I have selected an epsilon value such that 1 minus epsilon is less than 1. So this value is less than 1. Let us take equation number 3. Now, but x belongs to A. This implies since A is a subset of E, then x is an element of E. Since A is a subset of E. This implies x belongs to E, then fk of x tends to f of x as t tends to infinity. As k tends to infinity means this one approaching to this one, means if I take k larger value, this one will be very close to this one. So this one I can write as fk of x is equal to f of x for large value of k. Let us take this one as equation number 4. Now from 3 and 4. From 3 and 4. What we got? Fk of x is equal to f of x which is less than phi of x. Which is a contradiction? Which is a contradiction. Since phi is less than f. Here we got f is less than phi. Therefore, our assumption is wrong. Then intersection n is equal to 1 to infinity. A minus an is equal to a empty set. A empty set. Equation number 5. Equation number 5. Now, I am going to write in equation number 2 and 5. I am writing this one as empty. So, from equation number 2 and 5. From 2 and 5 we get limit n tends to infinity measure of a minus an is equal to measure of empty. Measure of empty set is always 0. So therefore that is limit n tends to infinity measure of a minus an is equal to 0. Therefore limit of this one is equal to 0. I am going to use the definition of the limit of a sequence, that is for each epsilon greater than 0 there exists a natural number n naught such that modulus of this one minus this one, measure is never negative, so I am not writing modulus measure of a minus an minus 0 is, again we will get this one is less than epsilon for all those n which are greater than or equal to n naught. Equation number 6. For any n greater than or equal to n naught, we have for any n greater than or equal to n naught, we have integral over e f and d mu. Since we know that an is a subset of e, then this integral value is greater than or equal to integral over an f and d mu. By definition of d mu, by definition of an, the definition of an says that fk of x is greater than this one. So this one I can write as, this one is greater than 1 minus epsilon into integral over an phi of x d mu, from the definition of an, Now this one I can write as greater than 1 minus epsilon into integral over e phi d mu minus integral over a minus an phi d mu. The reason how I am writing this one, I am going to solve in a rough part here. If you want, you can copy. In a rough part I am going to simplify. Since integral over e phi d mu, this one I can write as integral over an phi d mu plus integral over e minus an phi d mu. From this e, I am writing two separately, an, e minus an. If I add, again we will get the same thing. This implies, what is this one now? Integral over an phi d mu is equal to integral over e phi d mu minus integral over e minus an phi d mu. Which is greater than integral over e phi d mu minus integral over a minus an phi d mu. How I am writing here? Since a is a subset of e, then a minus an is a subset of a minus an is a subset of e minus an. This is a subset of this one. If I take minus on both sides, this will be less than this one. We will get this answer. Therefore, the reason here I wrote this one, integral over an phi d mu, is greater than this one, I wrote here. Now this one I can write as I am going to multiply 1 minus phi epsilon inside, 1 minus epsilon integral over e phi d mu minus 1 minus epsilon integral over a minus an phi d mu. Now since phi is less than m, because phi is bounded. In the case 2 we have got phi is less than m. This implies 1 minus epsilon into phi is less than 1 minus epsilon into m. Since 1 minus epsilon is less than 1, so this value is less than m. So 1 minus epsilon phi is less than m. So here 1 minus epsilon I am going to write less than m. 1 minus epsilon phi I am writing less than m. So this one, instead of writing here, this is the rough part, I am writing here, which is greater than 1 minus epsilon integral over e phi d mu minus integral over a minus an m d mu. because this one is less than this one. If I take minus on both sides, this value will be greater than this one. This value will be greater than this one. Now, which is equal to integral over E phi d mu minus epsilon integral over E phi d mu minus m is constant integral over a minus an d mu. So this one I can write as integral over E phi d mu minus epsilon integral over E phi d mu minus m into measure of a minus an. Measure of a minus an. Now, this implies, since we got in equation number 6, which is greater than integral over E phi d mu minus epsilon integral over E phi d mu minus m epsilon. How I am saying this one? Since measure of a minus an is less than epsilon by equation number 6. By equation number 6. If this one is less than epsilon, so what you will get? If I multiply minus on both sides, this value will be greater than this one. So I wrote here greater than. Now from these two I am going to take epsilon common. So which is equal to integral over E phi d mu minus epsilon integral over E phi d mu plus capital M, which is equal to integral over E phi d mu minus epsilon capital M dash C, where capital M dash is equal to capital M plus integral over E phi d mu. Since this one is finite and this one is finite, we will get this whole term is finite. Since 0 less than epsilon less than 1 is arbitrary, I can take very small, then this value becomes very small. Therefore, the resulting answer we get integral over E fn d mu is greater than or equal to integral over E phi d mu for all those n's which are greater than or equal to n naught. If this value is greater than or equal to this one, therefore we get limit n tends to infinity, infimum of integral over E fn d mu is also greater than or equal to integral over E phi d mu. This one only we have to prove. Proving the theorem in this case. Therefore, in both the cases we have proved the condition, hence proved. Hence proved.